On the warm days, the hustlers stayed outside most of the day. Business was good for them for the most part. The only worry was keeping an eye out for the cops who occasionally drove by but rarely exited their vehicle. The neighborhood was theirs. They thought they earned it. They thought since they could pay for whatever they wanted to pay for and what the neighborhood asked for, they were the good guys. If someone needed money for a local basketball league, uniforms, they could come up with the funding. They were the ones who had the money, the protection, and influence. Even if they were the ones also contributing to the constant decay of morale and integrity of the neighborhood. With drug dealers, they were drug addicts. And most of the addicts were fathers, mothers, sisters, and brothers. The overall rationale was people gonna get it from somewhere. Supply and demand. Joe was arrested and convicted more times than he cared to remember. He thought this was just the way it was, and that ultimately he ended up dead or in prison for life. Joe made peace with the traps set for him, accepting his inevitable outcome. He tried making an honest living, and it never got far. His uncle got him some construction work putting up drywall in a couple of houses he was renovating. He walked away from the job when his uncle asked him to work late on Saturdays until all the work was done. His uncle called him ungrateful and never spoke to him since. He got a dishwashing job at a restaurant downtown. He stuck with that for a whole 2 months. The pay was terrible, and the manager treated him like he was worth less than the low pay he was already getting. The proposition of easy and large amounts of cash daily always lured him back to the streets. Intermittent fortune wedged in between prison sentences. He had no idea what was coming. Joe's younger brother, Alan, or Al on the streets, mirrored his brother. 2 years younger, and a father separated them in relation. Al supported his brother in all endeavors. Whether it was brazen and ill-advised, dangerous, or brilliant strategy, he was there for Joe. Al was there when Joe shot at someone and someone shot at him. Joe never hit anyone, and they were never shot despite some very close calls. Al never fired his gun. He carried around occasionally, though he always promised he would if anyone else tried to mess with him. In some recent incidents, he pulled his weapon and just pointed. Before he could pull the trigger, his brother Joe had already fired a loud burst that startled Al. After a few shots, they both would flee before anyone saw them or the police arrived. Barry, Fizz, and Kern were more stoners than hustlers. They hung out and had less ambition for just about anything but getting high. And they were always high. They would have made more money if they hadn't consumed large quantities of what they were trying to sell. The loss of money was of little consequence to them because they were still making more money than they really expected to ever make. It was all they knew and all they cared to know. They knew these corners. They knew all the addicts, the children of the addicts, the houses of the addicts, and the corner stores, whoever came in and out of them. They were in comfort. Hand-to-hand transactions, minute after minute, day after day. The occasional violence or arrest was normal and expected. They felt invincible. They were the titans of the concrete, with new clothes and cigarettes, alcohol, and marijuana as a daily diet. It was a few hours into the day, and the morning rush just dwindled to a few customers. They all sat at steps on the corner house that has been vacant for as long as anyone can remember. The roof had collapsed years ago, and the foliage began to engulf the ravaged structure until it became difficult to make out where the house ended and the trees began. Joe was relaying his latest escapade with a local girl, and the friends were listening intently. So I'm in a room ready. She kept telling me about all these bills she got, and she don't know how she gonna pay them. I guess she trying to get around to me giving her some bread. I'm thinking, man, she put me on the spot. If I don't throw her some paper, I'm gonna be leaving here balls blue as the ocean, he says as they all erupted in laughter. So I'm like, yeah, that sounds messed up. I might be able to hook you up with a little bit of something later. I'm trying to stall her so, if I put her to sleep, I can roll out before she asks me, and I already smashed. So what you do? Al asked. So she's standing there looking at me, and I see the gears turning in her head. She gonna try to squeeze me before she gives it up. So I opened the bottle, poured her some drinks. She said she ain't want none. So I know she know what it was. I might as well not waste my time either. I'm gonna throw her some change, and I'm gonna roll out. So you paid her? Al asked. I paid her. Had to. Didn't want to mess my whole night up. They all laughed again as they saw a big black SUV pull up slowly and stop right in front of them. They all thought they were the cops. Fizz tried hard not to look for his gun. He had cleverly hidden in the bushes, very close, but not too close. If the cops were to search, he imagined they would walk right by it and not even see it. The drugs were even further away, and if the customers were to approach, one of them would step off, retrieve the drug, and the customer would pay there and walk to the other corner or other location to pick up the drug. The cash was stashed away from where they all were. Yo, who that? Barry said in a deep voice. All were silent except the engine and the wind. The windows tinted. They could only see their own reflection in the windows. They all watched. The door opened slowly. Fizz stepped to the side, waiting for a sign he would need to reach for his gun. The rest stood still as statues with very serious expressions on their faces. A tall man in a blue suit stepped out, and they immediately recognized who it was, although they were quite surprised. Good morning, gentlemen, the tall man said, smiling. Yo, Reek, what's up? Kern said, reaching to shake his hand. Yo, Reek, you was about to get popped. Don't be rolling up like that, Al said, laughing. What you doing dressed up? Joe asked. What, you got caught or something? No, I actually have a message. A message? Al asked. Oh yeah, what kind of message? Yo, Reek disappeared for like 5 months, come back in a suit looking crazy, talk about he got a message. Where your Bible at, man? I know you about to tell us how we need Jesus or something, Barry said. Reek smiled. No. The community has decided that your drug sales in this neighborhood can no longer be tolerated.